Good evening, everyone. JRR Maggie, Rotarians, VGRRs, presidents, past JRRs, fellow Rotaractors, members, and guests, welcome. Thank you for joining us tonight. For those who don't know me, my name is Maysa Aboud. I'm the current district executive, and I'm a member of Rotaract Club de Beirut Millennium from Lebanon. I would like to welcome our guest speaker for tonight, Ms. Hannah Shipman from the Rotary International team. Thank you, Hannah, for accepting our invitation to give this workshop. And I would also to thank you on behalf of the team for the help and guidance you have been providing us from the beginning of the year in being hopefully one of the most compliant districts on MyRotary. This is what we want. So as you know, dear fellows, you all heard about MyRotary accounts, especially the presidents and the secretaries. We have been asking you to update the status of the clubs on MyRotary in order to be compliant with Rotary International, especially that starting January 2023, Rotaract clubs will be billed for their membership dues, and this invoice will be issued based on the data entered on MyRotary. However, we have realized that not everyone have access to the club accounts in order to do the necessary updates, and that we lack some knowledge in this regard, from creating an account to assigning members and being club officers, to finally use and see what are the benefits of this website. So as a first step, we decided to help in the grant of access. So this is why we actually requested the ID number of the president and secretary. And hopefully with the help of Hannah and the Rotary International team, we will be able to assign the club officers in order to continue the compliance. And to continue this compliance process, we are organizing actually this workshop to show you how to use the website and how you can benefit from it. So all these questions, what is MyRotary website? Why do I need to create an account? And how can I use it? How to be a club officer and how to assign my members under the club account? This is what we will see tonight, and Hannah will tell us all about it. So make sure to have 2 devices because it will be a workshop. Actually, we will showcase how to do the necessary work on MyRotary, and you will follow with us. And the session will be for approximately 45 minutes. So please keep the questions till the end so we don't interrupt the process. Before we start, I will just leave the floor to Maggie, JRR Maggie, just to say a few words about it. Maggie.
Thank you, Maysa. Dear Hannah, Rotary International representative, dear presidents, dear board members, secretaries, and all the membership who decided to join and to really learn our new system a little bit more. I call MyRotary the Facebook of our organization, as it really provides exactly what the tools are to socialize. You can find any member that you want around the world that is a Rotary or Rotaract member. You can find out your good old friends from Rotaract wherever you traveled. It is also similar to Facebook because it showcases what we did with our projects. You can share the projects and the initiatives that you had on Showcase. And also with our Go Center, you can even learn something through like any of the trainings that they are providing. So we only need to know how to use it more actively and to familiarize our actions with it. When we were attending the Rotary Institute, our zone institute in Cyprus, my official question to Rotary International President Jennifer Jones was, how come we as an organization who has been for so long existing have not been updated with applications and better user surface, all these new technical modern world activations that the world provides, we have not been updated with Rotary itself. So her response was magnificent. She said, yes, we are working very hard on it. We have already improved MyRotary a lot. And although it has not been very user-friendly, it does provide a lot of tools. And over the couple of years, they really improved. We just needed to come as a new generation and to finally start using the new features that they have. One example of it is the branding center, that you can just go in the branding center and find out all the logos, create your club logo without even needed to be logged in on the MyRotary account. So today we will become a little bit more compliant as district and more close to showcase that we are our true membership by accessing our MyRotary accounts. Hannah, we are very looking forward to what you want to present to us, and I really wish all of you a successful workshop. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you very much for that introduction. I shall just quickly share my screen now so that you can see my presentation that I'll talk us through. So hopefully you're now seeing my screen.
Yes.
Perfect. So, yes, so as the introduction has already said, my name is Hannah Shipman and I'm working for the Club and District Support Team in the Europe Africa office in Zurich. The task that I've been given today is to give you an introduction to MyRotary and to talk you through how to create an account, how to update the club information, and what the other online tools are that you can access. But to begin with, I will just give a quick overview of the regional support that Rotary International is offering, and specifically what my team is doing. So we have over 200 countries that Rotary is active in, and to help support the activity, we have a network of secretariat offices. So for each of the pins that you can see in the map on the screen, there is an office there. Our headquarters are in Evanston, Illinois in the USA. And then the office that I'm based in is the pink dot, and that's based in Zurich in Switzerland. The Europe Africa office where I'm working supports the global membership of about 25% of our members, and together the Secretariat is helping support Rotary International network. So I'm working together with my colleague Retta Pantalini. We cover Africa and part of the Middle East. So there are 19 districts. So you're one district, we have 18 others that we're supporting, which is approximately 1,400 Rotaract clubs. And we're supporting these clubs and districts through various different things. So we're providing training, such as the webinar we're doing this evening. We receive the applications for the new clubs, then also the questions that come alongside the process of chartering new clubs. We send out newsletters to the district governors, but also to Rotaract club presidents. So those of you who have recently been registered as a Rotaract club president should be receiving the next newsletter when it comes out in the third quarter, so sometime between January and April, I believe. We provide analytics, so if you need some help presenting the club and membership analysis, we're providing that too, and we advise on policy-related questions. So MyRotary is an online platform that we encourage all Rotarians to create an account with. When I say Rotarians now, that is also including Rotaractors. So we're encouraging all our members to create a MyRotary account. It's particularly useful in leadership positions, but there are several aspects that are interesting for everybody. So within the exchange ideas area, you can join discussion groups and you can find information about Rotary events. Under the heading Take Action, you'll find links to give to the foundation. You'll also find information related to projects and how to apply for grants. In the news and media section, there is information about Rotary magazines, blogs and newsletters that you can sign up to so that you don't miss any of the news stories that are coming out. Through the Learning Center, you'll access lots of different learning tools and courses, and we'll discuss this a little bit later on. Via the Brand Center, as Maggie just mentioned, you're able to access a whole range of customizable resources, which will help to promote your club and the activities that you're doing. We also highly encourage people to go on there to create your club logo. But the club administration is the main reason that we're here for this training now. So without further ado, I would invite you to go to the web address that you can see at the top of the screen here. So my.rotary.org. When you're on the MyRotary page, you should see the same thing as what is on the top of my slide here. So you should see register as an option. If you don't yet have a MyRotary account, please click on register now. And this will then give you a screen where you can enter your name and your email address. If you're already a member of a Rotaract club, please make sure that you use the same email address that the club has on record for you. This will mean that the MyRotary account that you create will be connected to your profile in the club. If you use a different email address, then that will mean that we create a duplicate account for you, and then we will need to ask data services to merge the two accounts in order for you to access the club information. So it's important that you use the same email address at the moment to register, and then it's always possible to change your email address later when you have the account set up. When you've completed the information on the first step, so it should be asking for your name and your email address and for you to confirm that you are over 18 and that you are not a robot. Once you've confirmed all of those things, you should click next, and then you will get a verification email arrive in your inbox. Inside this email is a verification link that you need to click on, and that will then open another window which confirms that your email address is registered, and it will ask you to enter a password and also to choose a security question and answer it. It's important that you remember your security question and the answer that you've given, as if you ever need to reset your password because you can't remember it, it will require you to know your security question and the answer in order to do that. If you've not received a verification email, then please check your spam folder or your junk folder, because often the email is being sent to these folders instead. If you're having any problems with this step, to register your account, please send an email to data@rotary.org. The web address is included at the bottom of this slide. If you've got any error messages, please take a screenshot and include that in your email. So for those of you registering, you don't need to listen to the next bit because I'm going to be talking about how to sign in. So you can complete the registration process now. So if you are signing in, please enter your login email address and your password. If you can't remember your password, or you think you have, but the system is telling you that it's not recognized, you can click on the link that's highlighted in yellow down here, that is in the bottom of the left bottom corner, that says need help signing in. This will then give you the option for, if you forgot your password, you can then click that and enter your email address. Again, a link is sent to your email, and then you need to click on the link in there and you can go through the steps to reset your login. Again, if you're having any difficulties at this point, please send an email to data@rotary.org to tell them what the issue is that you're experiencing when trying to log in. I would encourage all of you at the moment to be logging in again. It may well be that when you've tried logging in the past, you have not been connected to your Rotaract club, or it may be that you have not been connected as an officer. But as Maggie and Maisa have said, there's been a lot of work going on in your district over the last few weeks in order to gather the details of everybody who has been registered as a president or a secretary, and that has been shared with Rotary in the last week, and my colleagues in data services have been working hard to update that. So it may be that a week ago you did not have access, but hopefully tonight you do. Okay, I shall now move on to the live demonstration. So if you just give me a moment whilst I switch my screen. So my hope is that you can now see the MyRotary pages, but if somebody could just verbally confirm that you can see MyRotary. You can. Super. So at this point, my thanks go to Ramzi Nazar, who has kindly shared access for his MyRotary account, so that we can have a live demonstration this evening of where you go when you can see, when you're logged in to MyRotary and your profile is correctly connected to your club account. What you should see when you are logged in is your name in the top right corner here. When your name is there, that's great. It means that you can go to your profile, you can find out more information about your account settings, and that's where you go if you want to reset your password or if you want to change your email address. If you want to change the language at some point, that's also possible with the drop-down menu just here. For this evening's presentation, we're looking at club administration. So you should be able to go to Home. When you hover over Home, you get the option to see clubs and districts. District is where you go to find out more information about the district you're all a part of, 2452. But tonight we're talking about club administration, so we hover on clubs, and then your Rotaract club should appear here if you are connected. If you are not currently seeing your Rotaract club here when you hover over Home, then you need to send an email to data@rotary.org to confirm your name, your email address, and the Rotaract club that you should be connected to. And if you are a club officer, then also confirm that in the email. They can then look into what has happened with your account and what's going on with the Rotaract club to make sure that you can be connected. When you click on the Rotaract club here, it will take you to the club page. So when it's loaded, you can see the name of your Rotaract club, whether it's a community or a university club. And then as you scroll down, you find out more, or you can see more information about your club. There are some aspects of this page that are possible for you to edit. So for example, you can update the contact information, you can update the meeting information, but the information at the top here is not possible for you to edit because that is generated by Rotary. So we confirm the club that you're located in and the district, the year that you were chartered, and your club ID number. As you scroll down, there is more information related to your club. If you have a sponsor, who the club officers are that are currently registered to your club, and if, I don't believe your district do, but if you have a club management system, that would also be visible just here. So that's an overview of the information about your club. Now, what we're interested in this evening is being able to see our members and update the club officers. So a club officer can only be assigned if the person is a member of the club. So we'll discuss first how to add members and how to terminate members, and then after that we'll move on to how to assign people as officers. So when you're on the members tab, you can then see how many club members there are. So here there are 26 club members currently registered for this Rotaract club. And as you scroll down, you then see the name, the ID number, if they have any role, when they became a member, and their contact details. If you want to amend the information about a particular member, you can click on the 3 dots, and then you will see that you can terminate their membership or edit membership. The edit membership means that you can change them from being an active member to an honorary member. So that one is perhaps less useful at the moment. So, but if you wish to terminate a member, you can click on the 3 dots and select terminate membership. That will take you to the next step where you can choose the date of termination. The date of termination that you are able to enter yourself can either be 30 days previously or 30 days in the future. If the date of termination is outside of that period, I would recommend that you record the date of termination, but then send an email to data services with the correct termination date, and they'll then be able to action that for you. So once you've chosen the termination date, you can then select the reason that they have decided no longer to be a member of your club. And then you can click continue. I don't wish to terminate any members, and so I won't be clicking continue, but you can click continue and then it will confirm the information that you've just entered, and you can carry on with the termination. The member will then disappear immediately. If the date was today or previously, the member will then disappear from the club roster. Now, to add a member to the club, you click Add a Member. You're then invited to identify the member. You can do this either by entering their email address, their member ID, or providing their name. If, for example, the member is transferring from one club to another, you may already know their member ID. So you can enter that, or you can search for somebody by an email address. So if we search for the purpose of this demonstration for myself, so I've typed in the email address and then you select search for member. If the person is on our database, then they will appear at the bottom here with their name, their ID number, and their email address. If that is the correct person, then you click continue with this person. If it is the incorrect person, you click add as a new member. The next step is exactly the same. It just means that if you click continue with this person, their contact details are already inserted. If you click add as a new member, then all of the fields are blank and you can enter their name and all of the contact details that you have available. Everything marked with an asterisk is a requirement. So you need to provide a first name, a last name, a gender, the email, and address of the person. Once you've entered in all of the information, so I will just go back because it will be slightly quicker if, oh, apologies. So we search remember and then click continue with this person. You can then see that my name has been inserted already, that my email address is there, my mailing address is there, and then I can click continue. This takes you through to the final step where you can choose the member type. All members that you're adding at the moment, I would imagine, would be active, but if you do choose at some point to have honorary members, you can just select that option here, and then you can choose the admission date. Now, again, as with termination of members, the admission date can only be 30 days previous to the date of today or 30 days into the future. Again, for the purposes at the moment, I would suggest that if the membership, the admission date is earlier than that or later than that, that you enter the date as being today and then send an email to data services confirming that you've added somebody with this admission date, but the admission date needs to be corrected to, and then providing the alternative date. You then check the box to say procedure certification, and then you can click continue to add the member. So that's how to add a member and to terminate a member. Once you have updated your membership list to include all members, but also particularly all members who will be officers, you can then start to assign your officers. And this is possible in two ways. You can either click the option here, Manage Club Officers. That takes you to a new page where you see which officer positions are currently vacant. So there is not, for example, a Rotaract membership chair currently assigned in this club, but there is a president, there has been a secretary since the middle of November, and there has also been, or there will be, a Rotaract treasurer. So if you wish, for example, to assign the Rotaract Public Image Chair, you can click on the plus sign at the end over here. And then you will be presented with the list of all the members of the Rotaract Club who you may be wanting to appoint in this position. So at this point, if you find the member here, you can simply push select. If you would rather not scroll through the 25 members to find the person, you can search for them by name or by email address here and then click search. But for the purpose of this demonstration, I will just click select here. That then tells you that this member is going to be the Rotaract Public Image Chair for this term, starting in July of 2022, going until June 2023. If, however, you would rather customize that date and say, well, no, they haven't been the officer until now, you can click here and you can amend when that is changing by clicking on the calendar. You can also set a custom end date if they're not planning to serve until the end of the year. When you click finish, that will assign them to that role and they will be set up with that role, and they should also then have the access to edit the club information as well. So I'm not going to assign anybody a role at the moment, so I will come out of that So now if we go, the other way to do it is to find the member, click on the 3 dots here and select assign a club officer role. So this way you've chosen the person, but not yet the position. You can choose whether it is this year or whether it is next year that you are assigning them for. If it is this year, as we've already seen, some of the officers have already been assigned, and so these are the only vacant positions. So you can select whichever position is being filled and then click continue. However, for next year, we can see that the Rotaract president, for example, has not yet been appointed, and so all of the positions that are available are now presented here. So you could select president for next year and you could continue in that way. Again, that will then register that person for that role. Now, if for some reason somebody is no longer serving in a position, you can amend this as well by going to the Manage Club Officers tab, and then you find the person. So if this person is no longer the foundation chair, we select the 3 dots, and we can either remove the officer from role, meaning that then nobody is going to be the foundation chair from now onwards. Or if somebody has already been appointed to be the foundation chair, we can replace them with somebody else. So just to demonstrate, if we're removing them from the officer role, you'll be asked at what date that role was ending. And then you can carry on. If you then decide that you have found somebody else and that you're appointing them, if we ended it on the 29th of November, you wouldn't be able to start the new person on the 29th of November. It would need to be the 30th of November. But if you have already got somebody in mind, then it's easiest to replace them with somebody. So then you select replace with someone else. And this then gives you once again the option to choose who it is that you want to select to replace them with. So again, we will go with this person, and then this is the effective date. So this would tell us that on the 29th of November, the officer was being replaced by the newly assigned officer for the position of Rotaract Foundation Chair, and then we simply click Finish for that to be recorded. So that is a rundown. Let me just double check. So we have done club members and club officers, how to find and appoint the club officers. So I shall now switch back to my presentation, and then we shall continue with how to see where the club invoice is going to be. Do you now see the screen with the presentation once again?
Yes.
Perfect. So the information that I've also just given you is also available as PDF documents. So I can share that with Maggie and Maisa afterwards, and then that can be circulated via email in case you would like a step-by-step guide for future reference. Moving on to discuss the club invoice. As we've already said, please ensure that your membership list is up to date by the 31st of December 2022. So you've got 1 month to get everybody listed. The invoice that is going to be issued in early 2023 will be based on your membership figure from the 31st of December 2022. So if you have old members on there who are no longer a part of your club, the invoice will be involving them as well. And the invoice cannot be amended. So the number of members that you have at that point will be the number of members that you are invoiced for. You'll be alerted via email when your invoice is ready to be viewed and to be paid. Within the email, there will be a link that you can click on. But if you wish to, you can also try and find, or you can also find it via MyRotary. Now you'll notice from the live demonstration that the tab that you see at the moment for finance is not currently there. And this is why we've switched from a live demonstration to back to the PowerPoint slides, as I'm mirroring what is now visible for a Rotary club, but is not yet available for Rotaract clubs because there are no invoices available. This will be the first one that is there. But what you should see is very similar to what is on the left of your screen at the moment. So you will see your Rotaract club name and whether your Rotaract club is a community or a university one. And then in the finance tab, if you click on that, you will then see the options appear underneath there. And in order to see your club invoice, you can click on club invoice, and then that will take you to the page that shows your invoice and that you can download your invoice from. And that page will look something like what you can see on your screen now. So the top bit is where you can then click to view your current invoice if you want the details. So for Rotary clubs at the moment, that then lists all of the members that are included on this invoice. I don't think you'll see the option for a previous invoice because there isn't one at the moment. As you scroll down the account overview page, you will see the payment information, which is currently in the bottom left of your screen. This is an overview of what it should look like. So when it says open in items, this will be relating to the invoice that is issued to you. The item number and description, again, are relating to the invoice. So as Rotaract invoices come out on an annual basis over the next few years, more items will appear there, but there should just be the one item for now. And then the balance that is shown will be the outstanding balance of the Rotaract club. So you can then enter in the amount that you wish to pay of the invoice. So usually this would be the full amount, but it might be that you're wanting to pay on 2 different credit cards or something along those lines. And so you can edit the amount that is there. Where possible, the financial services are asking for the invoices to be paid by a credit card. This will mean that your club amount is settled quickly with no need to follow up with finance. On the invoice page, when you go to it, you'll be invited to insert your personal details, so your name, your phone number and email address, your billing address and the credit card details. At the bottom of the page, you can then click submit, and then that should complete the transaction for the payment. And then once the payment is completed, you will see a payment confirmation page, which will act as your receipt. We'd advise you to save a copy of that locally. The web address that you can see on the bottom right of the screen has the club invoice frequently asked questions. We would advise that you take a look at that in advance of the invoice coming out, as it might be that the questions that you have are already answered on that web page. But if not, your financial services representative that works with me here in Zurich is Sylvia, and she will be happy to receive your queries via the email address that is listed there, or if you wish to, you can give her a call on the number as well. So now we move on to have a look at what the other tools are that are available through MyRotary. So we'll talk first about the Rotary's Learning Centre. Rotary has had an online learning centre for 10 years. In August 2018, we upgraded this resource to a new software, and in the last 4 years alone, we've attracted more than 150,000 learners. You can get to the Learning Centre in MyRotary via a couple of different ways. You can click on Learning and Reference, and then click into the Learning Centre in the option that drops down from there. Or you can go directly to rotary.org/learn. But in order to do that, you'll need to make sure that you're logged into your MyRotary account first. It is possible to go to the Learn Centre without a MyRotary account, but what you will see will be much more limited. So if you are logged into MyRotary first, then you'll have full access to all of the courses. Once in the Learning Centre, you'll see a screen that looks very similar to this, where you can see all of the available courses. These are grouped by subject and by role. So for example, as a Rotaract club president, you can click into club leadership in order to find more of the courses that are relevant to you as a club leader. Or it may be that you want to be developing your membership, and so then you can click into membership and find new courses there about how to attract new members. It's not all necessarily Rotary specific. There is a section on professional development, so there are courses available there to you as well, which you can take in order to further develop yourself. In total, there are over 180 courses offered in English, all of which are available to you as Rotaractors. And the final area that I will touch on this evening before opening for questions is the brand center. As Maggie mentioned already, you don't need to log into MyRotary in order to be able to access the brand center. And on the brand center, you can consult the guidelines. You can create your own club logos, which we would strongly recommend that you do in order to make sure that you remain compliant. And you can access customizable materials. The materials range from a huge selection, such as advertising campaigns, business cards, and also images for use on your social media. The brand center is accessible again via MyRotary by going into the Manage section, and then you find the brand center there. So as I say, I'm now very happy to take any questions that you have. I would encourage you that if you have questions that are specific to your own accounts, then it might be easier to handle those via email afterwards because it will require looking on our database to see what your email account is registered to. So those questions can be sent specifically to data@rotary.org. And again, with the invoice questions, I will do my best, but it may also be that it's Sylvia who ends up answering those questions. But yes, thank you very much for your attention this evening. I hope that that has been helpful, but please do reach out to me should you have any further questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Hannah. I think it was very helpful. And finally, we had something live to see how we can fix everything. Can we take some questions too? We have to. Okay,
Yeah, please.
We will start with President Elise.
Hello, thank you so much for your time. This was very informative and very smooth. I have a question. My club and a Rotary club in Lebanon, they posted on MyRotary Showcase a project that's looking for partners outside of Lebanon. Is there a way where we can, through algorithm or through tags or something, that we can push forth the project on the discussion groups on to showcase more the project through MyRotary?
That's a very good question. I believe the discussion groups are themed around specific areas of focus. So you could be looking for a discussion group specifically in there, but I would more recommend that on Rotary Showcase it's possible to tag various different topics, and so if somebody is specifically looking for a project, then they will be using those tags themselves as well, and so there you already have people who are specifically looking to join a project and who are trying to find an outlet for that. So I would more recommend using the Rotary Showcase tags rather than, but by all means, find a discussion group and mention it in there. But Rotary Showcase is the better place for using those kind of tags.
Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, now we have a question from Pedros, VGRR of Cyprus. Pedros, go ahead.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you for the presentation. It was extremely informative, very helpful for all of us. I have a question specifically that I think most clubs are facing in Cyprus, and I can see the issue is also for my club as well. We cannot really see any club officers actually in club details, and also in the members tab. We can see the members, but there's no option to add a member. So my question is, should the club presidents individually send an email as an individual problem for each club for it to be resolved?
That sounds to me like the officer has not yet been reported to Rotary International, because as a member you would see the club members, but you would not be able to do any of the administrative rights, and so it sounds like that may not have been updated just yet. I'm trying to remember, Maisa, if that was part of the issue that we were discussing earlier via email. So, but we will look into the Cyprus question, because yeah, that sounds like the officers are not yet reported.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Yeah, we will make sure that the club officers are assigned in order to check if you have everything and you can see everything after. Okay, a question by Maggie.
I will let Georgia go first because
Okay.
I have 3 questions.
Okay, Georgia, Secretary of Dubai.
Hi, Hannah. Thank you so much for a very informative thing. I just want to ask something really quickly. Something that Rotaract Dubai Club is facing right now is that when I try to add new members, it comes up with an error message saying primary address issue. And I've noticed that a lot. But the thing is that I have sent personally an email to data@rotary.org and I got that fixed. However, I was wondering if there's a more, how do I say, more like easier way to send maybe like a batch of all of the people that's not working for.
Yeah, absolutely. So there, every now and then, unfortunately, there are issues with the MyRotary and how it speaks to our database. So that error was appearing a lot for a lot of people, but has been worked on behind the scenes, and I believe should now have been resolved. However, data services at the moment are also accepting if you send an Excel spreadsheet that has the name, the email address, the mailing address, and the admission date of the members, or the termination date if you're wishing to terminate members. You can send a list of people to data services. It doesn't need to be done individually per email. So yes, please do go ahead and do that.
Amazing. Thank you so much. And also one last thing is, am I able to transfer a member from an old Rotaract club to our new one? Or is that the old club something that they have to do?
No, so the way that a transfer of a member happens is the old club needs to terminate the member, and then they can confirm with you that the member has been terminated, and then you can admit them as a new member. And so it's helpful that you're aware of the termination date that the Rotaract club has set for the previous member from when they were transferring, because if they, for example, set the termination date as being today, then you can't have the admission date being today. Your admission date needs to be tomorrow. So if an email can be sent from one club to yourself confirming that the member has been terminated, what their ID number was, and the date, that would be the best way to take it forwards.
Okay, amazing. Thank you so much.
Okay, Elsie, go ahead before me. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie. Hey, Hannah, thank you so much for this fruitful session. I absolutely loved it. It even answered some of the questions that I had on the form, which is, what are the added benefits of being on Rotary.org? Sorry, MyRotary.org. And I wanted to understand a little bit more as I was exploring the website. Is there any way for us to connect with other members around the world? Like, is there a certain chat room or forum that will be presented within the website in the future plans, or no?
So there's this discussion group that is kind of facilitating that option of having conversations with other Rotarians and Rotaractors all around the world, and that is open to all members all around the world. So I think that's how we would view it at the moment, that a discussion group is the best way forward. However, if there are specific ideas, then by all means send an email to us and we can pass that on to the team that are constantly looking to develop MyRotary and Rotary generally, how we're working with digital platforms. It's certainly not a case of we think we've got it solved and that's as best as we're going to offer. We're constantly looking to evolve. So if there are new ideas, then by all means send an email and we can take it forwards.
Perfect. I definitely will. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Emily. That's Emily.
Yes, please, Maggie first, please.
Emil, I think the first question, it will be the same. How do we assign dual members?
Actually, that's definitely a very important question, but I saw on my profile that I am assigned as a Rotaract member and as a Rotary member, so it's fine. But is that the case? So for dual members, it will show on our profile that I am a Rotaractor and a Rotarian. So it's as simple as this, right?
It should be, yes.
And the second question, please, is that if someone transferred clubs in the Rotaract journey or the Rotary journey, how does it show or how does it happen? So for example, if I was a member of a Rotaract club before, and then I moved to another Rotaract club. Does it show on my profile that I was a member of this club from that year to that year, and then member in that club from that year to that year? So how does it happen? Because I'm still a member of my first Rotaract club, which I'm not a member of now anymore.
Yeah, so as long as the data that Rotary International has is correct, that will be showing on your profile. So if there are errors on your profile that you see, then please send an email to data services to say there are gaps in my Rotary history and I would like to have this corrected, and then they can update your profile via the if it's the case that you're still a member of a Rotaract club that you shouldn't be, then the easiest way to get that resolved would be for the Rotaract club to confirm with data services that you are not a member and that your membership ceased on such and such a date, and then that can be updated by the data services team. But otherwise, if your Rotary history should appear on your profile, and that can then be shared with other Rotarians. If they search for you and find you, then they should be able to see your Rotary history via your profile. Yes.
Thank you, Hannah. Just to top up on Emil's question, how will now a club officer know how to assign a dual member?
My understanding at the moment is a dual member is best assigned by data services. And so send an email to data services to confirm that you are a member of this Rotary club and this Rotaract club, and they should then be able to add that for yourself.
Thank you, I understand. My question, second question, is actually what is club management system?
So some districts choose to manage their data using an external vendor, and so then that external vendor speaks. Their system is a bit like MyRotary, but it differs in some ways, and then it's then connected with MyRotary and the information. So the Rotaract club would be entering their information into the vendor, and then the vendor would be sharing that with MyRotary. So it's like MyRotary, but it's provided by an external vendor.
I understand. So something like Zoho or like CRM option.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay. We do have our own Rotaract website, district website, and our membership is plugged in on that website. Can that be also incorporated with here?
Good question. That would be one specifically for the data services team. I know that there are a list of vendors that have already been approved. So it may be that your vendor is already on that approved list. But I will send that to you after the webinar, and we can carry that conversation on later.
Amazing. Thank you, Hannah. My third question is, what will be the options for payment of the dues of the invoice for the club if the Rotaract does not have a bank account?
Okay, so the preferred way for Rotaract clubs to be paying would be via a credit card. And so using a credit card would be the best way to do that. That could be a member's credit card rather than a club credit card, because I know that for some that's difficult to register for. Otherwise, it needs to be a transfer, a bank transfer.
Okay, understood. Audrey wants to ask a question. She asked it in the chat, but Audrey, would you please just elaborate?
No, yes. Hi, Maggie. Thanks. So it was just to piggyback on the question Emil had about the membership. It was going to show on both, let's say, Rotary and Rotaract, but then also for the positions held previously, will they also be showing on the members' profile?
So for a Rotaract position, I would, and if the person has held the position of Rotaract club president, then yes, that will have previously been, and so long as it was reported to Rotary whilst you were active, then yes, that will be showing. Same if you've held any district Rotaract positions, that will also have been reported to Rotary International, and it will therefore be on your profile. This is the first year that Rotary are registering any of the other Rotaract club positions, and so it will be showing from now onwards, but we don't have the history of all the Rotaract positions, and so they will not be showing on your profile, no.
No, okay, thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. Ramzi, please go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. How's everyone doing? Thank you, Hannah, for the amazing session. Really informative. I'm glad everyone got to see my profile. I just wanted to ask regarding the vice president position. I've noticed that there's the secretary, treasurer, all the other committee positions, but the vice president I can't locate. So how come the vice president doesn't get the position?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's not a position that is has ever been recorded for Rotary International. I can't tell you why, because it's also not recorded for Rotary clubs. So many Rotary clubs also have a vice president, and that's never been recorded by Rotary either. So I will raise it with my colleagues who manage and who add the additional officers, but unfortunately a vice president is not possible. Yeah, I as a Rotary Club officer, you can delegate your access, and I'm just going through my head. I can't see why that's not possible for Rotaract officers. It didn't used to be, which is why I'm hesitating saying yes, go ahead with the delegation. I will add it to my list of things to double check that it's still possible, and then I'll confirm it with Maggie and Maisa for the follow-up message. But hopefully that's possible, and if it is possible, we'll include the instructions as to how you can delegate the access. So that would mean that you, as a Rotaract Club president, say this person is someone who should also be carrying out the administrative tasks on my behalf, and you can either give them access for the full time of your presidency, or you can give it, like, if for example you're expecting to be away for a month and you don't want to be doing Rotaract business at that point, then you can delegate it just for a limited period of time.
Incredible. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we have a question from Hala.
Hello, everyone. Thank you a lot, Hannah, for this session. It's super, super interesting. And I was very happy to see all the changes in the club management and in MyRotary, because when I was president 5 or 6 years ago, it was way more basic, and it was just the president being the officer and nothing else was like, it was not that user friendly. So I was very happy to see all of these updates. Now, a question I have 2 questions actually. One of them completes was what Ramzi was asking. We have different positions in Rotaract that are maybe not positions that were that are maybe included in the official positions from Rotary's perspective, such as the vice president in the club, but other district positions as well. So I think the only district position before that was able to, that was possible to assign maybe was DRR. For example, in our district, because we're many countries, we have vice DRRs, like the assistant governors in every country. We have deputy DRR, we have a whole like different set of positions because of the countries and the divisions in the 9 countries of our district. So do you think these positions, like we can try to include them in a way or another, or this is like too specific for our district? So this is my first question.
Yeah, okay, thank you. Unfortunately, it's not possible to adapt the district positions to suit each district, and it's often a frustration that we're hearing, particularly in the districts across the African continent as well as the Middle East, because they're all quite big, they've all got multiple countries, and it's just a lot of work for one person to do. So what we say is assign as many positions as you can, and then the delegation is what we would normally do. Yeah, we would recommend that the access is shared between more people. So I do need to double check for you all whether or not the delegation is now possible for Rotaractors. If so, that would be my solution, or that there would be one person delegated to do the updates via MyRotary. Sorry, not to be more help on that one.
And my second question was, when the club payments will happen in Jan, is it gonna be like, because I think I saw when you were showing on the screen as if it's a payment per person. Is it gonna be like a club's payment, or person by person will be paying?
No, it's a club payment.
Oh, okay.
So it should, I believe, possible to see on the club invoice, on the detailed club invoice, it might list all the members, but I haven't I haven't yet seen a copy of the invoice, so I couldn't tell you for exactly. But what will be included on the club invoice is the number of members that are being included on that invoice, and then it is one sum that the club are asked to pay. If it is one sum, then it's very easily done via MyRotary, and then once it's paid, the invoice total comes down to, or the outstanding balance comes down to 0, and you know that it is all resolved. If the clubs are choosing to pay via a bank transfer, then an email needs to be sent after the bank transfer is made, confirming the club number and providing the payment details to make sure that that is allocated correctly by the financial services team. So that's an important thing to do if you are paying by bank transfer. But it's much more straightforward to do, and it's much more immediate if it's done with a credit card.
Okay, thank you a lot.
I think I will go ahead with 2 more questions, sorry. But how do we switch off the digital magazine subscription if we have already subscribed? Because that will be built on the club level and it's individual responsibility.
I didn't believe that the Rotaract clubs were going to be charged for their magazine subscription. I'm adding it now to my list, magazine subscription. But in any case, if you wish to, so if it's a subscription to the Rotary, or to Rotary Mag as it's now called, to amend that, you need to send an email to data services. It seems to be my answer for everything at the moment, but an email to data services to update your Rotary magazine subscription. If you're wanting to change the emails that you're receiving, so for example, you can sign up to the Rotary Voices blog, and whenever a new email, whenever a new article is published on there, then it generates an email to you. If you decide you don't want to be receiving those emails anymore, that can be amended via your profile. So when you're logged into MyRotary, go to your profile, and then you can see what you've opted into and what you want to opt out of.
Perfect, thank you, Hannah. And the last question is regarding the invoices for the Rotaract. They are arriving in January. Is that going to be a practice always over the years, or then the next invoice will be in July for them?
No, my understanding is that they will be once a year, and as far as I'm aware, it will be January of each year. So it shouldn't be that you should expect another invoice to come 6 months later, but that the invoice is in January for the Rotary year of 22 to 23, and then again January 24 for the year of 23 to 24. But please don't expect the invoice to be in your inbox on 1 January 2023. I would expect it to be more mid to late January, because once the updates have all been made by the clubs, then the invoices are prepared after that. So that's why I raise a little bit of caution. Don't expect it at the very first week of January. It will follow shortly afterwards.
Perfect, thank you so much. And I think Glenn has a question, and I think that will be the last question for tonight.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Hannah, for the informative session and your continuous support along with Reto. My question is with regards to the invoice, once it's due, how soon we should pay it? Like there's a deadline after it's gone from like mid-January, let's say?
There is a deadline. Yes, and I believe it is 30 days, 60 days, sorry. But that question should be answered on the FAQs. So we can take a look at the FAQs to see if it's there, but certainly you have a good amount of time to pay the invoice between when it is issued and when it is coming through. But 120 days. Rotary and Rotaract clubs are required to pay the balance upon receipt of the invoice and are subject to termination for non-payment of dues 120 days after the invoice is issued.
Okay, great, perfect. Thanks very much.
Okay, so I think we don't have questions anymore. I just want to thank you, Hannah, once again for this super interesting and clear workshop and demonstration. I think now everything is clear for us. And now that you just announced that most of the club officers are assigned, I think the next step for our club officers is to update their data on MyRotary in order for you to have the correct and exact invoices. And I think it's now time to for us to surf on this MyRotary website and see what are the benefits and to start actually using it and accessing it more and more. And most importantly for the club officers also, I just want to mention that it's important to assign the next club officers in order to avoid to have this lock once again next year. So yeah, that's it. Any questions, don't hesitate to contact us and to contact data.org as well. So yeah, that's it.
The most today.
Yeah. Maggie, do you want to say a final word before we end the session?
I'm very satisfied of how this turned out. We didn't know what to expect because we indeed had a lot of challenges. So we actually got a lot of more questions in the background that we are going to accumulate and share it with you, Hannah, to, if possible, transfer them to us. But we really want to thank you on behalf of the district. We are aiming to be the most compliant district in the world, and this was the one step forward to that. So you are an essential part for our team, and you are always very assistive and supportive, and we thank you for that.